Hello, Harjap.
Hi, Julia.
Thank you very much indeed. I've been ranting about the COVID inquiry, so I've got less time than I planned to have, but I can rant about this as well. What do you make of the new Rwanda treaty, first of all, that the new Home Secretary James Cleverly has managed to sign?
He's managed to sign it, but he hasn't told us how much it's going to cost. So firstly, that's his refused to say anything about costings, and his estimates out there that it's going to cost us 170,000 per person. He needs to come clean with that and tell us what the costings is to that. And then it's very concerning sort of clauses where Rwanda get to pick whoever they want to keep, and the rest they can just send back to us. So if Rwanda decide that out of 100 migrants or 100 asylum seekers, 10 are beneficial to them, they can keep them and they can send 90 back, of potentially criminals who they can send back. So
I think there's a clause, isn't it? If someone's convicted of a crime and then they go to prison in Rwanda, then they could be shipped back to us. But then they'd have been committing that crime here in the UK anyway. I mean, you know, they don't have to keep people they don't want. Look, we all know about this policy. It was supposed to be a look over there policy. Look, we're going to send people to Rwanda. It's going to be hundreds of people max. Best case scenario. That many people turn up on a Saturday on a dinghy. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a meanness. There's kind of a principle behind it, though. But in terms of you know, every effort that is being made to try and get round the Supreme Court ruling and the next legal challenge and the next legal challenge, do you think it's even possible for the government to actually basically get rid of all the different legal challenges and meet those criteria at a level where they could actually put someone on a plane to Rwanda and then stay in Rwanda? Do you think that's even possible to do while we're still part of the European Convention on Human Rights?
It might be, but whether it's possible to do before the election that's the key question, and that's the issue. So it's not about whether it's possible to do over 5 years, before 5 years. There's a timeline to this. So we know it's either May or November that this government have got to pull it out, because they're the two dates for the general election historically. So are they going to be able to do that? Don't think so. You're right. 519 people crossed the weekend on one day. Just this weekend. If they were sent to Rwanda, first of all, we'd had 19 people who couldn't be sent to Rwanda. And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen with the other 51 weeks in the year?
I mean, that's the thing. Everyone's very fixated on this policy. But do you think, you know, we told you this, the Rishi Sunak is caught in the middle, you know, rock and a hard place of his sort of, you know, one nation Tories and his sort of new Conservatives, sort of, you know, the left and the right of his party. Some are sort of going, we'll become a, you know, a pariah state if we leave the European Court, the European Convention on Human Rights. And the others say, look, if you don't do either of those things, you're never going to be able to send anyone on these planes. And basically the voters will say, that's it, we've had enough. I mean, if you were Rishi Sunak, what would you do?
I would try and heed the advice of people, what they're saying, and instead of self-harming or doing something for optics, essentially, and wasting money, which this government's been very good at over the years, a la COVID inquiry that's going on now, right? So instead of all of that, I would say, right, let's do a mixture of what we can to try and stop people coming here. And if they do come here and they get refused, let's process them really quickly, like we used to in the olden days, and send back the people that shouldn't be here. There are excess of people who are walking around here for 2 years.
What, we could send back the people who shouldn't be? Why has no one thought of that before?
I know, because
isn't the whole point we can't?
We can.
No
because
one wants them.
Previous government did it. In 2009, we were sending back 60,000 people.
No, but we're told it's under the Tories. We're told it's under post-Brexit. It's not. It's because the interpretation of human rights legislation by the judges and by the lawyers has completely gone off the scale. Basically, you've got a right. You know, if you've got a pot plant that you planted, you've got a right to a family life with that pot plant in this country now.
ECHR has been around for yonks.
Yes, but it's different interpretations.
The ECHR was around in 2009 when they were sending people back. The fact is, it's removals. Once someone's been refused asylum, okay, so there's a surplus of Indians here waiting 2 years or more for an asylum decision. Yeah. Now, we have a returns agreement with India. Why aren't we sending them back? Right, what about the Nigerians? We have a return agreement with Nigeria.
But presumably because they haven't reached the end of their legal processes.
Their legal process shouldn't take 2 years,
It shouldn't take 2 years, but we know how rubbish the Home Office is. I'm pretty sure you and I could do the assessments in a couple of days.
This government has made it rubbish. They inherited a system which was working, and they totally made it rubbish. And now they're saying,
what did they do? What did they do that made it rubbish?
What did they do?
What was the change that this government, well, under whichever of the 17,000 prime ministers we've had in the recent years, what was it they did that made it rubbish? What was
They
the
stopped
change?
they stopped fast tracking of asylum claims. They then did not invest in removals. They then did not follow up on their treaties. They haven't invested in staff. They haven't trained staff. They've employed ex-supermarket staff and gap year students to make asylum decisions
That would
about a
probably
matter
not
of
help.
life and death.
That's a fair point. Harjap, we'll have to leave it there. But Harjap, Singh Bhangal, really appreciate you joining us. Well, no, we'll speak to you again very soon.